It's another beautiful week at Waffle-Free Storytelling. Hey, how you doing? It's Tina Konstant here. And as always, the jibber-jabbers at the end. So, we're leaping right into this week's story, which is the true story of shadows. Now, back at the dawn of time, my favorite time, when all things were being created, the gods used really simple tricks of light to entertain themselves. These creations were fast and impetuous and delightful and mischievous, and after many nights by many firesides with too much food and too much drink, the gods let loose their imagination. All using sticks and fingers, hands and bits of string, they put on elaborate shows of light and shadow, each one attempting to outdo the other. They made the very best of these shadow creations permanent, and because they liked to look at what they created, they put these shadows in a glass case to be admired. Now, as you can imagine, these trickster shadows were not best pleased with their imprisonment, so they hatched a plan to escape. They knew the gods would have to open the case to let the new shadows in. So they agreed to sit very still as if they were sleeping. Then the moment the door was opened to new shadows, they'd all fly out. It was a simple plan. And like most simple plans, it worked. The moment the smallest chink appeared in the glass case, these shadows who had sat so perfectly still, hardly breathing at all, leapt out and fled, taking the newly created shadows with them. Well, chaos ensued. Absolute mayhem. The shadows blasted into the world, breaking everything they touched. They split mountains in two. They divided continents. They tore the seasons into 4. They changed the directions of the winds. They pulled an entire hill out of the ground and tossed it into the sky so high that to this day it can still be seen at night. It was pandemonium, and the gods reacted, as you would expect, in pure fury and determination to get order and control back. It took 7 days to gather all of those shadows, and when they were finally back in the box, the gods admitted they had to do something about them. "We could destroy them," one god said. "No," the other gods said in loud and booming voices, mainly because they were vain and couldn't abide to destroy anything that they had had a hand in creating. "We could bury them deep in the earth," said another god. And of course the god of the underworld said, "And unleash that chaos in my realm? I don't think so." Then, from somewhere beside the fireside, an old god who hardly ever spoke, who mostly just drank and pondered, he said, "Anchor them." Well, the gods listened as the old god explained what he meant. Delighted and excited by the plan that would not only control the shadows, but also punish them for their chaos, the gods got to work executing the old god's idea. This anchor that the old god suggested would hold the shadows by the ankles and never let them go, forcing them to lie on the ground in permanent supplication to their creators. It was so awful that the gods could do nothing but marvel at the genius of it. It was only Mother Nature herself who looked on and saw how unfair and how unkind the plan was. She watched the shadows battle against their shackles, and when they were too exhausted to move, these once feisty, rebellious creatures lay with their faces in the dust. Mother Nature couldn't abide it, so she stood before the gods. "Your plan is genius," she said, "and I applaud your brilliance. But you've forgotten one thing. and the gods were curious. "What is that one thing?" they asked. And Mother Nature pointed to the sky. "Your rebellious shadows pulled a piece of my creation and threw it into the heavens. It now hangs there with nothing to do, and you know that every piece of nature must have a purpose." And the gods agreed. "Your sun," Mother Nature said, "it's bright and beautiful. Give this new piece of the heavens equal time to shine, and I will let your shadows with their anchors walk the earth." Well, the gods without exception agreed. In fact, they thought that they had got the better end of the deal, because the anchors that they had created, they had arms and legs and flesh and bone and took up so much space. And so it was on a bright, bright day, the anchors with the rebellious shadows in tow walked onto the earth for the first time. Mother Nature waited and she watched. She let the gods celebrate. She let them get drunk and she let them carouse. And when the sun was put away and the new moon shone, she called the anchors, every one of them, and she sang them a song on the breeze that was so gentle and so soft that each one of them fell asleep. Then, with the moon dim and high and the anchors sound asleep, Mother Nature let loose the shadows. "The night is yours," she whispered. "No one will see you in the dark. You can wreak havoc. Go and play. Be your true selves. Go and love and rejoice with my blessing." And the shadows did. All through the night, all in the dark, they danced and they drank. They wrung water out of the skies, leaving the grass wet to touch at dawn. They spun webs between giant trees. They lifted the oceans and let them drop again, all while the gods and the anchors snored. Then when the sun came up and the shadows were beyond exhausted from their festivities, they went back to the anchors and they fell into their own deep, deep sleep, grateful to be carried, until the next moon rose the next night, and it was time for them to play again. And there you go, that's a slightly weird one. A strange origin story from Waffle-Free Storytelling. Here we go, walking around all day thinking we're in charge. I don't know, I don't think so. So, hey, how's your week been? What have you been doing that you can look back on and go, yeah, that was kind of cool? You know, what adventure have you had? What wild and weird thing have you done? In fact, what have you done this week that has kind of scared you a little bit, but you've done it anyway? You know, if you look back on your week and it's all full of work and obligation, it's easy to forget that there's fun and adventure to be had. Somebody asked me that question that week, and quite honestly, I had to go, I've got nothing lined up. And it made me think and plan and book an adventure, so thank you for that. You got to have that balance in the world, because all the wild stuff feeds the glory of your day. So, hey, it'd be great to see you around the fireside. Drop around to www.tinakonstant.com. That is Constant with a K. And I look forward to seeing you there. In the meantime, have a most splendid week. Have a beautiful day. Hug the people you love. And enjoy the world. Enjoy our beautiful playground. All right. See you next week. Bye-bye now.